Hey everybody, it is time to talk about everything that was added to the JP side today, minus one. There's one thing that we're not going to talk about today, and that is Raviesse, because Raviesse is a new unit, so we need to take a look at her in her own video, which will be, I promise, happening very soon, and will probably be up shortly after this video. But today, we have all of these old winter units getting improved, and that is worth a look at. Let's take a peek. So for this video, we're going to be covering the new equipment. We're going to be taking a look at the Xmas units, all of our old ones, and then continuing on into just some other minor things that are worth talking about. So yeah, just give me one sec. I thought I was ready, but something got misplaced. Okay, so first off, Xmas Ramada, one of the oldest units, not just overall, but in the entire game. Actually, been around for a really long time at this point. And what we're looking at here is a dream enhancement for a lot of the old units. So first, we can see the we can see her master ability. She's essentially had this for a while now, and last year she ended up being like kind of just a high DPS, and her dream ability is continuing that. Increase slash resistance penetration by 20 for self, slash attack by 20, and upgrades one of the skills. Taking a look at the upgraded skill is her job level 25, which still does basically the same thing that it did before. As you can see, consumes 5% HP, increases defense penetration by 50, damage by 225, 25% chance to inflict stun. The big thing here is the modifier has gotten upgraded. So it's gone from a 180 to a 225. Still AoE, and I feel like this really doesn't change my evaluation overall of Xmas Ramada. Yes, she is powerful. Yes, she's good in a manual type setting, potentially. But she will die incredibly quickly to a lot of other great units out there, and I don't think that there'll be enough here. Again, this is the first day, so I haven't seen the actual stats yet, or anybody who's gone absolutely crazy with this. But I mean, like, short of offensive-wise, this is the textbook definition of a glass cannon, and I don't think will make much of a difference. So Xmas Ramada, fine for manual players and PvE stuff, but don't think she'll ever make a difference in PvP. Not the way she's looking. Next up is Winter Mashery. And Mashery, her old version's already gotten an upgrade, and so has her brand new version, so what about this version? Well, Dream ability will be increasing HP by 15% and critical damage by 20. Now, honestly, kind of an interesting combination. I don't remember her being particularly high critical, but there is, I do believe, some good critical spears. So curious, interesting little thing. So how about we look at the other thing that has been upgraded, which is this. Her long range single target attack, which before dealt 220% mod to a single unit, decreases jump for a single turn, has now gotten a pretty big upgrade. So, I mean, still looking at an incredibly high range here, 3 uses, 24 AP. None of that has changed, but also will now dispel all buffs for target, dispel haste for the target, and any physical damage or magical increased buffs for the target. So it's a pretty good dispel on a long range. And it has such a high modifier on it that I think it's okay. I mean, again, this might be a unit that spots in somewheres, and I feel is better than Xmas Ramada, just because there's more utility, interestingly enough, in here, and she does have, you know, some extra benefits from her main job, which is just Dragoon, which now has the extra Dragoon job enhancements from getting Protect and everything. Honestly, Xmas Mashery feels considerably higher in terms of my evaluation than what she used to be. But Fire is really, really into Evade right now, and that's probably good enough, and Dragoon still doesn't feel good enough. So again, interesting upgrade. Somebody is going to use this, but it is not me. And I actually do have those 2 units. Now, let's talk about 2 units I don't have. So Xmas Monera. Now, Xmas Monera is kind of been a fist user, anti-magic character, and, got some improvements last year. Reaction block rate of 40. My nose is running a little bit, excuse me. Increase attack by earth attack by 15 per allies, but increase attack by 40. Now we're looking at single target resistance and more magic resistance. Good. She's better into the mage matchup. There really aren't too many pure mage matchups anymore. The closest would probably be it would be Thunder essentially right now. And while that is scary, I don't think it's really good enough to overly recommend this character just based on those. So what are we looking at upgrade? Well, it's her job level 25, and it stayed mostly the same. Defense is the same. Healing power decrease is the same. And the modifier is the same. The only thing that's changed is the range on it. And okay, good, fine. It's still single target. It still loses out to highly ranged units. And this unit still probably isn't super good against physical. So yeah, with wind just being so strong, definitely not right now. There is a possibility that this unit will be good in the future, especially dealing with some high healing units. Warrior of Lights, cutting healing power by 70% is a pretty big blow to that unit. So there is definitely, I see corner cases where this unit will be really good, but more of a specialist, less of an all-rounder good unit from my perspective anyway. All right. Now, Xmas Victoria, a long-ranged unit, and ranged is kind of good right now. Taking a look at what her master ability 2 was last year, decrease AP consumption, increase accuracy, good. Dream ability, increase accuracy further by 15, and missile attack by 20, good. Overall, quite light. It actually would be just generally really good against fire evasion. Not that that's overwhelmed the meta at this point from a JP player's perspective, but kind of nice if you do have this unit already. Could see, again, cases where this will be used. And here, we're looking at an upgrade to her job level 25. AP cost is the same on paper. Decreases missile resistance still by 20%. Decreases attack and magic by 40, decreases now CT by 15 time for targets with a 165 mod. I mean, it is a large AoE. It has, range possibilities and everything on it. Probably the best of the 4 oldest units. If I was to just rank them, Winter Victoria is probably still the best of the 4. And I think Monera has definitely some corner cases, as well as Xmas Mashery. Both of those units could see use through their some of their unique stuff in their kits and their upgrades here. But is it really worth spending a ton of resources? I just don't see it as such. But hey, again, some people will find more extra uses, but my initial impression is just not that hot. Because, it's winter units. All right. Let's talk about the last one. And this is the biggest improvement in terms of, this unit didn't have her master ability 2, and this year's getting that, and her dream enhancement. So, taking a peek here, what do we got? Well, an overall increase. So now we are looking at the HP buffs overall and the wind attacker allies. Increased defense penetration by 15 total now. Critical damage up by 15, AoE resistance by 15, and decreased chance of being targeted 3. So the AoE resistance and the chance of being targeted is new. And if you take a look at her dream ability, mostly just accuracy, which I'm a little bit concerned about. Not too terribly much, but it does feel a little bit concerned. As for her job level 25 ability, taking a look here, you can see the defense is the same, you can see the auto restore is the same, and you can see the mods the same. The only thing is that the range has become more complete. It's now a larger, more flexible area, which is good, and this does give AP and everything, and wind is already currently strong. But the wind units that Wind is using right now is not this. I mean, yes, I have run into some Winter Luarthas. I overall think it makes the team in PvP weaker. But, you know, the decreased chance of being targeted keeps this unit a little bit more out of the spotlight. I just don't feel too much like this is going to make a huge difference, especially because just looking at the, you know, main thing she got was accuracy, which is good against in certain matchups and not in others. The AoE resistance is kind of interesting since that's kind of one of the main ways you're going to be trying to hit her, since hate down is a thing. I don't know. This is definitely the best improvement of all 5 of the old Xmas units, and the one that I would recommend the most, because it has the most practicality, and it's probably just, you know, it's just overall feels the best. But is it worth spending a ton of resources to get this unit? Probably not. Again, you kind of want to focus, like Sadali and Flag Glassy are way more important, and they're not limited time and just better than this unit still. No matter how good this Lance unit is, Flag Glassy is considerably better by a long shot. Fine unit, fine upgrade. Is it worth pulling for if you don't have her already? No. That is my answer. All right. So there is another update to look at, and that's mainly to do with the fact that we actually have a raid now. And the raid is going to be coming with a brand new piece of equipment. And this piece of equipment does have a relevant, I should say, piece of news for our Christmas unit. So first off, it is the Horned Moogle, the Reindeer Moogle. Now, this is a old Vision card that came with a Esper on it, but now it's also an accessory to the fact. And as you can see here, HP of this, 20 attack, 12 defense, 22 dexterity, and 25 critical evade. And for the Xmas units, decreases AP consumption by 15, single target resistance of 8, and a increase overall of the evocation gauge 30, which is kind of interesting. If Espers ever did really become meta, then this is something that you're going to want 1 or 2 of potentially, because you could, I don't know if it stacks because the new piece of equipment, but if it does stack, you could have a really big boost towards getting an Esper ready. You know, Dark Ifrit's really good. There are some Espers out there that do make a difference, and that could be an interesting way of going about things. But in terms of stats, kind of a wide variety. I mean, it's not badly statted. It has a good amount of defense, even some attack, some dexterity, critical evade, and HP. It fits on a lot of different characters. As for the winter units, does it make a difference? AP consumption is probably the biggest thing for Monera. Or sorry, not Monera. I wanted to say Victoria, because she has one of the more higher cost stuff with her AoE and whatnot, and if it's cheaper now, great. Overall AP consumption bump, benefits all of these units, and single target resist also benefits all of these well. So yeah, it's a nice piece of equipment. I really don't know if it overly makes me reconsider my evaluation of these upgrades to these units, just because it's good, but I mean, yeah, other than like Victoria, Luartha, and Monera, those are the ones that I'm really interested in with this upgrades series. So yeah. All right. Also, I realized halfway through this that this is kind of a batch review overall. So yeah. My final verdict, having looked at those for the old units or dream enhancements, Luartha, again, I feel is really strongly in the maybe category. Very situational, whether you need a wind unit or not. If you already have 3 great wind units, I just can't see her really adding too much, and then maybe just isn't worth the throwing a UR horn at her. As for Victoria, Maybe a little bit more because ranged is really good, and water has picked up a lot of strong vision cards over the year, which has kept her kind of relevant. But again, she'll have to fight in there for spots against Preen and a bunch of other characters. And I think, once Celeste, she's going to be out of PvP consideration a fair bit. But again, not bad. Monera and I feel like Monera and mashery are just so situationally good that it's probably not worth a dream enhancement unless you're a super big fan of either of those characters. And while I may end up regretting saying this because it turns out in 3 days someone finds out that Xmas Ramada is incredibly broken, I'm going to say that Xmas Ramada is my skip one overall, just because she just feels so glass cannony, and there's so many characters with so high range they could probably just kill her before she gets even too close. But again, that might make the difference there. So anyway, yeah, that is all of that. But it's not all. We have a few other things to talk about. Specifically, 3 pieces of equipment. So first off, Spine Blade. Spine Blade goes up to a 6-star, gets an increase in accuracy for it. Sure, why not? It also gets a little bit higher stat, up to 169 attack. Was a good piece of equipment before, kind of liked it, just got a little bit better. Sure, why not? Nothing overly that I'm complaining about, but not that exciting. Holy Lance. Now, Holy Lance is going up to 198 attack, or its critical version is getting a 6 higher critical rate. Both of those I quite like here. Accuracy is only up by 2, so feels pretty weak there. As for our major thing, we get the undead killer and all of that. We end up getting the defense penetration. Now we're getting extra pierce attack. Holy Lance, I liked it last year. I like it again this year with its upgrades. That's all there is to be said about it. Next up, Gold Anklet. Now, taking a look at the Gold Anklet here. Increase agility by 8% for 3 turns. So basically from 2 turns to 3 turns. God, this is an actual piece of equipment, isn't it? As an increase, a pretty good increase of critical rate that some characters will be interested in. I wouldn't go out of... Also, the Spirit version isn't terrible here. And the 8% agility increase is fine. I don't know. It's definitely for some units, but just looking at it, I'm not overly enthused. So, fine. And just a little quick preview of Raviesse. We're going to talk about this, the new Greatsword, the Ice Greatsword. And this is really conditionally good for some characters, but it's actually kind of just generally good overall. 208 attack Greatsword with 5 accuracy, 2 crit, and 9 magic. Can also be built for a crit version with 8. Doesn't feel that good. Or an accuracy version with 20. Also just kind of meh. Can be equipped by a bunch of different Greatsword characters, which is always good. Condition for her increases slash attack by 15, strike attack by 15, which is really interesting that that's in there. Increase accuracy by 15 for self, and increase slash attack resistance penetration by 20 for self. Wow. Now, why I find this particularly so interesting is that, slash attack resistance penetration of just 20? Sure, with a 208 attack, absolutely. There's plenty of ways to get around defense penetration. In some units, they can just shut down defense penetration. But slash attack resistance penetration is just fantastic and works really nice with the new in combination with the new vision card to give this to potentially some other units and really pile on the human killer and whatnot. I think that this sword is really great. Also love the art style of it. Now I'll talk about it again with Raviesse, but just as sometimes I end up forgetting talking about these, I wanted to make sure I got it in this video. As for anything else, the raid is currently started, and we will be going on that. There is a bit of a trade this year. So you can just end up getting the Moogle farm from the shop. But there's also 10 pickup tickets, both for the older Christmas unit. So you do have a chance for about 20,000 here to have a chance to pick up some older units as well. So that's kind of a little bit nice, even dare I say generous. You might also be able to pick up the vision cards. I didn't see if they were on the banner. Other than that, that is the update from JP. And next video, we'll take a look at Raviesse. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. See you next time.